Thank you so much for attending the Invisible to Invincible Summit, where we're bringing you information from amazing speakers who have gone from that sense of invisibility to being invincible. Today, we have our next guest is Betty Morin. She's going to be talking about exploring bipolar. So this may be a touchy subject for some of you. There may be some trigger spots that come up. So just know that Betty is coming from a place of giving, and she wants to help you to move out of these situations that you may be in, moving into that lightness, that we can have a greater impact on the planet. So Betty, welcome to the stage. So excited to hear what you have to share with us today about exploring bipolar. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for that very, very kind introduction. I am so honored and grateful to be here, to be at this summit, to be on this earth, and to be in the midst of amazing, powerful women. So thank you so much, Linda, for this opportunity. Today, I do get to share with you about my personal exploration of manic depression, also known as bipolar 2. But before we do that, I would imagine many of us have been sitting for a very long time, and maybe even in the same shape, like in the same spot. So I'm going to invite you to do some gentle movement with me. We'll just do a little bit of movement. It can be done in your chair. It can be done standing. You don't have to do it. But I notice it's a little easier to be present after I've moved my body a little. So I invite you to find a seat where you can place your feet firmly on the floor, where you can press your base of your body into your chair, and where you can breathe easily, right? So you may soften your abdomen, you may draw your shoulders away from your ears, lifting our arms up over our heads, bringing our palms to touch, and bringing our hands down. We'll do that twice more, and if you'd like, you can even add in your breath. Inhaling as you reach up and exhaling as you come down. Once more, inhaling up and exhaling down. Letting your hands go wherever they'd like to go. You can drop your chin, reaching one ear to your shoulder, lifting your chin toward the ceiling, and reaching the other ear over. Gently rolling your neck, noticing what's happening in your neck and your shoulders, going the opposite direction. Allowing your body to breathe as shallowly or as deeply as it wants to, and coming back to that neutral seat where you're sitting up tall, reaching the crown of your head toward the ceiling, inhaling our arms up, bringing our hands to touch, and just moving from side to side. Right? Oh, the sides of our body get really stiff as we've been sitting for a while. And then coming back to center and just letting that go. Pressing your feet into the floor, pressing your seat down into your chair, rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. Going the opposite direction if you'd like. Drawing your shoulders away from your ears and just noticing how your body feels in this moment. Maybe it feels different than when we began. Maybe it doesn't. So that's one of the tools in my toolbox. And I love that Mary was also sharing tools with all of us. So I told you that I would share my experience and my exploration of bipolar and how it helped me move into a more healthy state. But first of all, I want to remind or share with you all that this experience is subjective. It is my experience. Some of my story may resonate with you, some of it may not. And, you know, this thing that we call mental illness or, you know, disorder, condition, diagnoses, right? It's so subjective to everyone's experience. So my experience with manic depression actually began when I was 11, and I'm 38 now. Since being diagnosed, I have largely pushed this away. I've put my hand against it. I said, no, this is not who I am. It will not define me. And by doing that, I actually ignored it and made it this invisible thing that began to control who I was. I even went so far as to throw my medication out my window when I was 11 because it made me feel like a shell of myself. It made me feel like my body was alive, but I couldn't experience anything. And I am someone who experiences everything, oftentimes all at the same time. But unfortunately, even though I was done with the diagnosis, it was not done with me. It just kept showing up. Tumultuous relationships, high highs, deep lows, amazing bursts of creativity, gone just as quickly as they arose, and then deep, deep sadness, feeling drained and finished with life. And I've been on this roller coaster my whole life, this invisible roller coaster. And I don't even like real roller coasters. What's worse is my family had to come along with me, bringing my husband and then my children, living at the mercy of this diagnosis. Sorry. This thing that I experience, instead of living in choice, instead of being aware of the experience, pushing it away. And as the saying goes, what we resist persists. So a couple of years ago, things just started coming together. Magic started occurring. The stars aligned, if you will, and I found myself working in the mental health sphere, something that I've always desired, but I have never pursued for a myriad of reasons. I was planning events for a nonprofit whose mission is to erase stigma around mental health, mental illness, diagnoses in my community. And shortly after I began working there, I realized, oh my God, I have to get off this roller coaster. I do not deserve to be on this roller coaster. The effects that this has on the people around me and myself, none of us deserve that. So I went into action. I found an awesome therapist who really invited me to look at this diagnosis and see if it was actually my experience. When I began to look objectively, I started to see with new eyes. I could see the undulations of the moods and the toll that it took, how the experience colored what I even believe about myself and who I am. I told myself so many untruths during episodes of depression and episodes of mania, and I'm still working through those. And when I began to observe, when I began to just look and be aware, freedom started to arise. My therapist, bless her heart, turned my perspective around too. She told me that I actually experienced something amazing, that I am lucky to get to experience the full range of emotion and the full range of experiencing being a human. That this actually is a gift a gift that I can give myself. I am so sorry. Do Not Disturb was supposed to be on. Apparently it wasn't. Yay for being human, huh? This is a gift. It's a gift that actually helps me to empathize. It's a gift that helps me to understand others and to actually be able to be of service. Now, like I said, I'm not going to pretend that this journey is over. I will be on this journey forever, just like we're all on the journey of experiencing life. But I looked at it. I started to observe. I got aware. I found a therapist. I got on to medications that work, a mood stabilizer, including the antidepressant that I had already been taking since 2017. I immersed myself in an experiment of self-love. And I even used Facebook as a tool to share that and actually just solidify it for myself by being public and vulnerable. So I shared movement with you earlier, right? And that might be like, why did she do that? Well, it's because it's a tool. It's because it's a tool that I use to get present in my body. And another tool that I use is meditation. So meditation helps me observe better the deep lows, the depression, and the high highs, right? The mania. Movement allows me to get into my body and detach from thought through physicality, right? To get into my body in the present moment. While meditation allows me the space to watch thoughts, to watch body sensations, and to know that the thoughts that I grab onto that like stick to me aren't necessarily things that I have to have, right? When I allow my thoughts to stick to me, I can't see the forest through the trees. So I would like to share with you another tool, another exercise that I use. And this is called watching the mind. I actually learned this tool a number of years ago through my meditation practice from the Ashayas of the Bright Path. So we're going to take a few minutes and we are going to watch what's happening as it moves through our awareness. So we're going to do a silly exercise. You can join me in this silly exercise. And if you don't want to, if you don't feel comfortable, if you're in a space that doesn't allow you to, that's totally fine. So I'd like you to bring a hand out in front of you. Okay, it can be your dominant hand. It doesn't have to be your dominant hand. And now place it on your face. And just notice what this experience is like. If you want, you can put something in the chat. You don't have to. But notice, like, what is this like to have your hand on your face? Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? Does it feel weird? Maybe so. Can you breathe well? What can you see? Now, bring your hand just like 2 inches from your nose. And notice what that is like. What can you see? What is this experience like? Is there more space? Is there less space? Is it more comfortable? Is it less comfortable? Now bring your hand out like 6 inches from your face and notice what that is like. What can you see? What do you notice? Can you see your hand? Can you see what's around you? And now I want you to notice what is actually in between your hand and your face. What is that? And you can drop your hand, and if you'd like, you can throw in the chat what you were noticing, right? What were the sensations coming up? What did you see there? What did you notice? And Maria, I love being silly too. It's definitely part of who I am. So, oh, you noticed the lines in your hands. Yeah, Linda. Sally says she noticed that her hands are chapped, right? You noticed details. And where did you notice those details? Did you notice them when your hand was further out, or did you notice them more when your hand was on top of your face? Further out, right? So you could see what your hand actually looks like, right? And when it was further in, it was actually really hard to see. Ooh, I noticed clarity in space as it moved further out. Oh my gosh, so cool. So what I would pose to you is that most of us live our lives here with our thoughts firmly planted on our face. We can't even see what's happening around us because we are so lost in our thoughts, right? They're just stuck to us. And when we start to watch, I could actually breathe with my hand further away. Yes, Jen, exactly. Right? When our thoughts are stuck to us, we can't see what's happening. Right? When I'm depressed and those thoughts are stuck to me, all I can experience is depression. So you can keep sharing your experiences. That's totally fine. And if you'd like, you can join me in a short exercise, a short little thing that we're going to do for watching our minds, because having our thoughts stuck to us and leaving you with that is absolutely unfair. So if you are in a space where you can close your eyes, go ahead. If you're not, please don't. And I invite you, with your eyes closed or your eyes open, we are simply going to watch what's happening. And here's how we're going to do it. Every time you notice that there's like a thought moving through your awareness, a noise that you try to like figure out where it's coming from, a body sensation that you like are like, oh, why am I feeling that? What is this? Right? Mark it. You can mark it by counting it. You can mark it by giving it a letter from the alphabet, right? So you just notice. And when you notice that there's thought, body sensation, or sound, you just mark it. And we'll only do this for like 30 seconds or so. So don't worry, I'm not going to force you to close your eyes for like 5 minutes. It'll just be 30 seconds or so. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes, or if you'd like to leave your eyes open, you can just gaze at a spot in front of you. And all you need to do is watch, marking when you have a thought, notice a sound, or a body sensation. You may open your eyes or re-engage with the screen. If you'd like, please share what that experience was like in the chat. I really want to hear from you about what that was like. Was it frustrating? Was it easy? Was it interesting? Was it kind of weird? What did you notice when you marked the thought? Right? So if you'd like to share, please do. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I notice when I do that exercise. So when I first started doing that exercise, I was really worried that like, oh my gosh, I had like 25 thoughts. There must be something wrong with me. Oh my goodness, my brain moves so fast. Ooh, it was like counting sheep. Yes, I love it. Right? And what happens, Jessica, when you count the sheep? Right? Do you keep reeling in that thought? Or does it kind of move? Oh, it was so hard. So many experiences and distractions. Yes. Right? And it's a muscle that we just don't flex that often. I loved how you led that through that. So simple to notice the space. Cool, Samadhi, that's so cool. Right? So what I would say to you is that when you mark it, you actually don't have to think about it again. For me, it starts to interrupt the thought. Just kept counting and counting and counting. Numbers came up. Yeah, and do most of us like associate with numbers and allow them to stick with us and we think that they're ours? I would say I don't, but I'm also not much of a numbers person. Right? So it's really, really interesting. Music always playing in my head. Wow. Oh, that's fun. I'd love to hear your soundtrack, Linda. I'm not going to lie. So it's really interesting to just start flexing this muscle. Right? You can do this anytime, like especially if you notice that you're reeling in thought, maybe just take a minute, 30 seconds. And as you're reeling in that thought, 1, ooh, what happens? 2, oh, what happens now? Right? Just getting curious about how we interact with our thoughts and seeing if it's possible to gently move from here to here, to here, to here, right? And it's not a destination, it's a journey. Some of our thoughts are really real. Some of our thoughts we believe wholeheartedly. And some of them are easy, like, oh, the light is red, I better stop. Easy thought. Don't have to dwell on that one. So that's an exercise that I share because I just love the freedom that I've been able to experience just doing it and doing it and doing it. And the cool thing is this is recorded, right? So if you ever want to go back and play with this again, you are welcome to do so once it's uploaded. So, oh, being comfortable with our thoughts is definitely a practice. Oh, Jen, yes, it is. And it's a practice that many of us have never even thought of or been taught. So we got to be gentle with ourselves. So for me, experience is the best teacher. What I experience, I give validity to. For so many years, I gave validity to the depression and to the mania because they feel so real. But that isn't who I truly am. I think you can all probably tell that who I truly am is kind, vibrant, effervescent. It's one of my favorite words too. And pure love. The depression and mania come from somewhere else, and I have stopped trying to figure out why or where they come from. I've even stopped trying to fix myself, and I do my best to observe, to be aware when they come on, so that I can move through them using an amazing myriad of tools. Now, I must admit, this is way easier said than done. Whether you're on the spectrum of like mental illness or not, it's much easier said than done. So I have created systems. I have created a circle of support to help me when I need it. I've learned to ask for help, which is a pretty vulnerable thing to do. So my toolbox is really my toolbox. My toolbox is really robust, right? Movement, meditation, medication, they all live there. So does acupuncture, friendships, hugs, crying, laughing, energy work, and being of service to others. I use these tools to experience myself and who I truly am more and more of the time. In the last few months, I have been exploring the concept of trust. I've always wanted to trust myself more. I've even gotten feedback in professional settings. Betty, you need to trust yourself. And it seems so easy. But I didn't know which part of myself to trust. The depression, the mania, the place where I felt neither and wondered when the shift would happen, when the other shoe was going to drop. And now, as I begin to experience my truest self more and more of the time, I am starting to see where to place my trust. Trusting the woman who I am meeting for longer periods of time as my treatment plans are refined. The woman who is deeply connected to source. Who, when she stops trying to control and plan and make things happen, allows everything to just come to her. Like this summit, like our book. It's been so beautiful. And really, it's true magic. So, my friend, no matter what, no matter where you fall on the spectrum of mental health, whether you experience depression, anxiety, mania, none of it, find your tools. The tools that help you be your truest self. The tools that allow you to be more of yourself more of the time. You've heard about some of the tools I use, and I have one more to share. So, it's song and dance. So, it's a very silly song, and we already know I like to be silly, and I have some of you that like to be silly too, so that makes me so happy. You don't have to dance, you don't have to sing, but I'm gonna sing 3 rounds of this song. If you pick it up and you wanna sing it, great. If you wanna move to it, great, and if you don't, you're like, you're crazy, don't do it. So, here's my song. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. One more. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. Thank you all so much.
You know, I was singing along with that one after I got all the lyrics there. So now that song is going to replace my Man in the Mirror song for the day. That'll be my song playing in the back of my head. But that was fabulous, Betty. Thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody, we get a lot of great comments here in the chat. You know, love Betty, love Betty, love Betty. And thank you so much for being part of this and what we're doing. And I just love, you know, your story is so impactful. You know, like all the ladies' stories, right? They're very impactful in different ways. And just the fact that you came forward and shared your story, I want to thank you for all of that, all these great tips for us to, you know, tap into ourselves and to, you know, just to give us this, this glimpse into bipolar, something that I didn't know anything about. So thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody, this is fabulous, right? Let's hear it for Betty. Oh my gosh, absolutely fabulous. Oh, wait, what, Betty, stay on the screen here because I want to show our video commercial. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Right now? Like that. Love our commercial.
That was awesome.
You like it? You like it? That was
I
fun.
loved it. And I'm excited for our collaborative book to be up there as soon as we get that fleshed out, Linda. That will be so exciting. Women action takers who move inward to uplift.
Yes, there we go. I love it. And I'll just talk about that just briefly is that, one of the things that we do is we write collaboration books, and then we invite other people to co-collaborate with us. And so Betty is going to be co-collaborating on a book coming up called Women Action Takers who, what is it? It's called
Move Inward to Uplift.
Move Inward to Uplift. So we'll be looking for co-authors for that book. If anybody is interested in sharing that story, being part of this journey with all the ladies here in this summit, as well as just all the things that we're working on. If you want to be part of that, we are offering a 50% off deal. I didn't tell you this, Betty. 50% off deal just during the summit, though. So anybody who's watching a replay, if it's after the summit, I'm sorry, that 50% off deal is gone. And Sally's going to put in the chat here how you can join us with that 50% off, in either the Women Action Takers who Move Inward and Uplift, or one of the many other books that we have. And here's the thing is when you pay, you join us at 50% off, you don't have to choose your book today. So that's one thing, is the pressure is off. You don't have to choose today, but join us, because as you can tell, everybody's just loving being part of the books that we're doing and being part of the summit. And Betty, that was fabulous, your presentation. Share with everybody how they can contact you.
Yeah, so I'm Betty Morin, and my website is moveinwarduplift.com. And I am moving into a career as an experiential speaker. And Linda, I wanted to just give a huge thank you to you for hosting this and for giving us all this beautiful platform. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook under Move Inward Uplift, and I'll throw it in the chat too.
Yes, awesome. Thanks so much, Betty. Truly appreciate you.